let's talk about gas prices. Everyone knows, due to the conflict, gas prices have been on an uptick. I'm starting to feel it at the pump. I'm sure it's a lot of my fellow Americans. Um, California, who's always at least $1.50 above the national average. Let's see what it's looking like over there. My gas bill has went up at least, I would say 30%. So hopefully this is a short-term situation here, but let's check out what's going on over in California.
Joining us now is Patrick DeHaan, head of petroleum analysis at GasBuddy. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
I think a lot of people.
I wonder how many of those EV owners, how they're feeling right now. I remember I think it was 2022, gas prices were soaring and EVs were pretty popular. Since the new administration came in, gas prices, they've been down, and the demand for EVs has went down. So, they were kind of in a critical state there. So I wonder how they're feeling right now.
Questions here as to why we're seeing these prices spike, why they're spiking.
And hopefully, I have my eyes on the company car as an EV. I have my eyes on getting me a personal EV. So hopefully the short term situation, which I hope it is, doesn't increase the used EV sales. So we'll monitor that.
Here in California, the national average up more than 80 cents in just a month. Can you explain why the Strait of Hormuz has such an impact here, despite about 65 to 70% of oil used in the U.S. being domestic?
Well, we know that the U.S. is the greatest producer of oil, but globally, I know I think reports say 20% of the global oil comes through that strait.
Yeah, first of all, the Strait of Hormuz is probably the most vital waterway on the planet when it comes to oil shipments. 20 million barrels, or a fifth of the world's total oil supply, goes through the strait on a daily basis. And now, because we've seen attacks already happening on vessels in the strait, all those vessels are basically now parked, anchored, waiting for some improvement. And every day that goes on, we lose out on 20 million barrels of oil that would be flowing through there to countries like China and India. Now, as you mentioned,
I got a buddy he drives the F-150 to work. It's about 40 miles, not round trip, one way. And he's considering buying like a more fuel efficient vehicle, like a Honda Civic, due to the rise of gas prices. So I don't know if this is a short term issue. I don't know if that'll weigh, but just want to give you the mindset of some consumers out there.
Does not end up in the United States. It goes to areas like Asia. But for the same reason that housing market values don't go up just on one street.
I'm going in on EV myself, but don't raise the prices on those used EVs. I have my eyes on them.
One neighborhood, but generally an entire area, is the same reason that we are also subject, I should say, to the prevailing price of this global commodity. Home prices go up in larger areas across the U.S. and across the world, and oil prices not too dissimilar in that higher oil prices are impacted everywhere, not just in the United States.
Not just oil, though. My energy costs, I know over the winter, it was a more colder winter over here on the East Coast, and my natural gas bill, my heat is on natural gas, I definitely felt the effects of it. It was higher. It was higher by at least, I'd say 20%. I know the number that I'm used to paying. I was paying 20% over that over the winter,
regardless of where that oil may come from.
Now, here in California, we know gas costs about $1.50 more than the national average. So can you break down why it's so much more costly here in the Golden State?
California has a lot of regulatory.
Everything's high over in the Golden State. I've been to California over there visiting. I worked over there, but too rich for my blood. I can have it. I'll stay on the other side.
Environments that kind of push the price up. We have the cap and trade program in California, essentially refineries having to buy credits to produce gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel. As you mentioned, you have the high gasoline tax. There are other programs as well in California. The CARB, the Air Resources Board, mandates a specific blend of gasoline just for California's consumption. And now also this year, of course, there's been a lot of coverage on refineries that are permanently shutting down, given these guardrails and how they've limited California refineries to operating their business. Another refinery, the Valero refiner in Benicia, cap and trade program in California, essentially refineries having to buy credits to produce gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel. As you mentioned, you have the high gasoline tax. There are other programs as well.
Hopefully it's a short-term issue. I don't want to belabor it, but as of the time of this recording, I know it seems like we are reaching, hopefully, some in the right direction on the conflict over there, or at least they're postponing some operations. So hopefully that'll result in things getting back to where they were. I'll let this play a little more, but I think everyone gets the point on this one.
California, the CARB, the Air Resources Board, mandates a specific blend of gasoline just for California's consumption. And now also this year, of course, there's been a lot of coverage on refineries that are permanently shutting down, given these guardrails and how they've limited California refineries to operating.
So yeah, we get it. California, you're a whole different animal on that one. You're a whole different animal on that one. So yeah, let's endure these gas prices. I myself drive a fuel efficient vehicle. I get like 40 miles to the gallon. So yes, my fuel cost has went up, but it's not catastrophic. So